Hello, and welcome to the Holistic Living, Learning, and Loving podcast, where we are bringing you back to the basics.
We explore sustainable living and holistic health and strive for progress, not perfection.
So please join us on a wellness journey and feel empowered to make positive changes in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's not easy. Our society really puts this emphasis on beauty and makeup and all this stuff, and it's going to be hard to stay true to our lifestyle as we age.
Yeah.
I always thought I was going to get work done.
Me too. I was always for it, always. Up until very recently, I just had a nose job, And it's a very botched nose job. It's not great. I mean, I think overall, maybe it looks better in some ways. In some ways, it looks worse. Now I have a very wide nose where I didn't before. Anyway, I want to get it fixed, but I probably won't now. I'm probably just going to leave it. So yeah, and then I see all the women getting lip fillers and like Botox and I want to do those things. I do.
Yeah, sure. Me
like
too.
my lips are shrinking. I didn't have tiny lips, but there's, as you get older, they kind of shrink, And I'm always tense, so my lips are like all the time. And I'm like trying to relax. I'm like, relax.
Oh my God, that is so funny. If you guys are not watching the video, guys, if you're not watching the video, I suggest you go turn on YouTube and go back to this moment.
I always do that. Like, you could ask Nick. Oh, I was looking at that video. I was like, what is on my arm? It's a CGM. But
yeah, we have CGMs.
But yeah, like Nick will see me. He's like, "What? Are you trying to make your lips bigger?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it sucks that I care, like we even care so much, and that's kind of what we're trying to get at, right, with this podcast. Our society is so focused on beauty, and especially as women, it's really hard for us. I feel like men have it really good because a lot of men, they look better as they age. Honestly, I mean, not look better maybe, but like they look fine as they age. Like you can have.
Fine.
But like, a man can rock the forehead wrinkles and look distinguished.
And like the little gray, like Mike's getting the gray patches on his temples. I'm like, I love this. So
cute. Like it's totally fine, but it's like for us,
it's different.
Yeah.
If I have temples with gray, that's not sexy like a guy is when they get older.
Right.
Yeah. So no one's like, ooh, look at that lady with the white hair. But you see a guy with white hair and you're like, man, look at this. You see those like the tan older men with the white hair and white teeth or whatever, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that they're particularly like, rocking my boat either, but
Oh, so funny. But yeah, I feel like we can rock the older look. You know what I mean? It's all about our perception of it, like our state of mind and our health, and definitely self-love. Yes. That's really important and very hard. I'm not even going to lie. That's very hard. But I've seen older women who like just radiate, like they glow, right?
Yes.
And they look old. They do, but they look good.
Yeah.
I look at them and I'm like, I want to look like that when I'm old. Like, please let me look like that when I'm old. I could do that. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're going to try to, like, what we're going to aim for, right? Like, you can get procedures done, you know what I mean? But I guess this podcast is obviously geared towards people who are probably not going to want to do that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so with my hair, I'm getting a lot of grays, but it's not like quite enough to like embrace gray hair. I don't think it's just not there yet. I don't really want to go through that phase where I just like let it grow out and then have like this black patch that keeps hitting down here. And I really don't want to do that. So and I also hate getting my hair color because I'm like, what is this chemical? I'm putting it on my scalp. It's like, I'm just like absorbing this shit, breathing in fumes. I'm like, just the whole time I do it, I'm uncomfortable the whole time. And it takes 3 hours or something. So it's like, sucks. So this time I was like, can we blend, have kind of blonde highlights in my black top of my hair, but can we blend the blonde to where it kind of looks like it matches the gray, because the gray and the blonde are like a similar hue. They're like shinier kind of. So we did that, and it's pretty grown out, but I'm hoping that it kind of like bridges the gap between a total acceptance of gray hair.
Yeah, the grays are really starting to set in for me. It's mainly like all right here.
You would be cute with like gray like streak. I hope.
Yeah,
your
I
hair does
know.
that.
If only it would like specifically grow that way, though. I mean, it is all in the front, but it's not gonna grow like a streak. You know what I mean?
I know.
But Nick's like, just let it go gray, because I have no dye in my hair. I haven't dyed it since before Petal turned 1, I think. So there's no dye in my hair. That was like 8 years ago, and I'm trying to keep it that way, but I don't want to go all the way gray yet. I mean, I'm about to be 37, and I feel like that is gonna age me a lot as far as appearance. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to start dyeing my hair soon. I think there are like some better options as far as dyes go. I don't know how well they work.
Maybe if you're doing like a whole head,
Yeah.
not like mine where it's like I need highlights and shadow roots and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it a little more complicated. But yeah, so I just, I think going gray, like it's something like you should probably put it out as long as you can. Like, if you're self-conscious about it, put it out as long as you can. But at some point, like you have to just like embrace the gray. Like you can't color your hair dark forever. I mean, I guess you can, like, but
Well, yeah. Well, but that's kind of the whole idea of everything we're talking about. Like at some point, you're going to have to embrace aging, even if you get procedures, because I mean,
they can only do so much.
you're right. Like you're still going to look aged. And I think
Unless
what,
you're
like
like Melissa Rivers or Joan Rivers.
Oh, Joan Rivers. I don't want to. She could keep that, but she's passed away now. But I think you're
Yeah.
talking about Dolly Parton, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like
Dolly Parton still looks pretty good.
It's like
but
unless
she's-
you have a ton of money, like it's so expensive. You're gonna be spending so much money on this.
Yeah, I mean, at some
And-
point you're gonna have to accept it, on some level, you know, and
it's okay. So another thing that Miss Donna talked about in her class is it's okay to be your age. We're constantly trying to force ourselves to be this younger, better version of what we think we should be. But why can't we just be who we are in this moment? Because it's also important for us to have people that are our age and older than us in all generations up until they die. These people, people that have been around for a long time and everything, like we're all important. It's not just that we should all forever try to be 35 years old, like it's
Yeah.
okay to be 40. It's okay to be 50 and 60 and 70 and 80,
yeah,
like it's
definitely.
okay because it's what you are and you're you.
Well, we definitely still, at any age, you still hold a very important role in society,
Yes.
you know,
And in your family and everything.
it's just we have to start caring more about those things and less about sex and sexuality, because that's where the wanting to look young comes from, is like trying to be sexy. And I think anyway, I mean, deep down, I'm not saying that everybody who wants to look pretty is trying to be sexy, but at the same, if you dig deep, you're trying to look attractive.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, and if you're a man and you with your wife, I think it's very important to help her feel comfortable as she ages, because that's a big thing. If you talk about like, younger women a lot, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's just not even good, like, manners.
Yeah, but it happens. It does happen. Or I don't know how.
Don't like other hot women's freaking Instagrams.
Yeah, or do that.
That's just bad manners, okay? If someone goes by, you can't look. I'm sorry. You have to stealthily, I don't know how you stealthily look at somebody, but don't be checking out other women and doing
Just
all
don't
that stuff.
gawk.
Don't gawk.
I guess
Don't trail
don't make
them.
just whatever it is, don't make your wife feel like she's gonna be less than in your eyes as she gets older. Make her feel like you're gonna still love her and be attracted to her forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
vice
really
versa.
important. Yeah,
Like
definitely vice
we're
versa.
both aging. We have to treat each other with that kindness too to make them feel special. And that
Yeah.
they're not old, because they feel just as old as we do.
Yeah.
They're just They don't know it, but they just look better.
But so we can actually keep ourselves looking youthful. Like I said, like the old lady who radiates, right? Like, I say radiates, like she glows, and that I think about that a lot, and I think about the woman that I saw a lot, because that keeps me focused on because I like to prepare myself, right? Like I'm trying to love myself, and I'm trying to accept myself as I age. I don't want to be uncomfortable with myself. I don't want to hate myself or beat up on myself because I'm getting older. I want to be able to accept it and be comfortable with it. So that's what I've been working on. And I feel like our physical health is going to play a huge role in how we age.
What you're talking about, that glowing, is a vitality, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not just physical health, but it's also mental health.
Mental.
You
And,
have
like, a oneness, I think, with like the people like I see like that or have a oneness with nature.
Yes. People who glow, first of all, are happy people.
Yes,
Happy people glow. And
happy
and
loving people. Is that how does that song go?
I don't even know what song that is. But yeah, like when somebody is happy and at peace in their life, I think that's even a bigger one. Happiness is happiness. We all want to be happy, but have you found peace in your life? Peace is huge. Are you worrying all the time? Are you stressed all the time? Can you accept life for what it is right now? Where you are in life right now? You know, all those mental health things, like that's going to be a huge... You can tell the difference in the way someone looks with their mental status.
Yes, absolutely. I pick up so much on that, and it makes me uncomfortable. Yesterday, I was leaving Whole Foods, and I was by myself, and there was a guy and another guy further back, like walking from the parking lot, and I was going to the parking lot. And this guy, he just looked like all I could think when I saw him was death. But he was young. So it wasn't like he was an old man or something. I was thinking, it was just like I had this total vibe of him. His pallor was all wrong. And I didn't even want, I felt bad, but I didn't want to pass next to him. I went, luckily this other guy, the way he walked, I was able to go around the other side where the wind was kind of like blown away. I felt something, you know? And
well, that's
like,
because
yeah.
we have frequencies. Is it free? I know we have frequencies, but like,
I've been raising mine.
Yeah, like we have frequencies that reach, like, so when you have a low frequency, it's like not as far out. When you have a high frequency, it goes out further, right? Mm-hmm. And the other people's frequencies affect our frequency. And some people like are weird about the frequency thing. This is a fact. We have frequencies. It's just truth. We're energetic beings. We're made of energy, and that's just we are. Yeah. And so, yeah, other people's energy is going to affect your energy and frequency.
Dude, I felt it, and I wanted away.
Right.
But you know what? I'm going to say that, like, when this meditation stuff, I haven't been doing it that long, but I really, really feel it.
That's awesome. Really making me want to be consistent with it. I want to be consistent with it already, but, like, seeing your results makes me want to really,
this
really
morning, and I was so happy. Like, just happy. But that's what I meditated on. I meditated on being happy. And
that's such a good point. Like, that's something you can do to find peace and happiness in your life.
Yes. And with feeling the way you are and being good to yourself. Like, you can listen to meditations, listen to manifestations, and tell yourself that you're happy with yourself and all these things. And eventually, you will believe it. And I am proof for that.
Yes. Fasting can help, or just like meditating can help you find peace, because we help you find peace in your life right now where you're at, because happiness is not something we're going to achieve once we get that job, once we get that relationship, once we do blah 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 blah. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that already. Like, happiness is a choice, and it's something we have to choose here and now. If you cannot be happy with where you are in life right now, then, and I mean, I'm sure you don't have to love your life the way it is now and want to be in it forever.
Yeah, and want to change or whatever.
Right. But you need to be content, right? Like, and be and think and be
accept.
aware of, be aware of what you want next, and make goals for yourself, right?
Yes. If you find yourself that you can't be happy with it, then you must change it.
Right.
In any little way that you can. It doesn't have to be a big change. You're making small steps to get better, you know.
And you you can manifest how, if you meditate and you manifest and you're focusing on that goal, and that gives you something to work towards, and having something to work towards and having goals makes you happier overall, because you're focusing on that and you're not focusing on all the negative things there is to focus on in this world
why
today.
sit there and tell yourself, I'm a failure, I did this wrong, I wasn't good enough, all these horrible things? Like, can you change that in your head and be like, I tried my best, I gave it what I had, like, I'm still a good person, I still love people and my family or whatever, you still have all these amazing things. You don't need to beat yourself up about the time you failed,
Yeah. You have to focus on the
your whole life
good.
is never a failure. Like, that's just crazy. It's not.
No. People have pulled themselves out of the lowest places. So nothing is impossible. But yeah,
it's like no one else can pull you out of it. Like, you have to take the steps on your own. Like, you have to work on it. It's not easy.
yeah. And when you meditate, you're also building your intuition and your self-awareness.
Yes.
And all of these things are going to be important for mental health and mental well-being, which is going to reflect on your outer appearance.
Yes.
Overall. You can just
like
see
your
it.
aura. Like,
Yeah.
people being connected to you and like
Right.
wanting to be around you, and just people can feel that vibe.
Right. And, personality and, like, where you are mentally has so much. Like, how many times have you met someone who you haven't spoken to them, but your first impression of them, like the way all you've seen was their appearance, and you might have not even thought they were very attractive. But you get to know them, and all of a sudden, they're very attractive, And it's not because they physically changed, obviously. It's because of who they are.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure everybody has had to have had an experience like that. And that is proof that the inside really does show on the outside. And natural beauty is beautiful,
Yes, absolutely. I think that collectively society just, they want to look the same. People want to look the same Kardashian, like,
Yeah.
like, how many women have I seen that look like exactly like that, or some, like, trying to go for that or whatever, just trying to look like someone else. But, like, why? Like, why can't we just be who we're supposed to be?
And ultimately, in the long run, I think that that's going to draw people to us more. I feel
as being,
personally.
like, authentic.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and the reason that people are chasing that is just because we're stuck in comparison. We have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these, we're all connected. We can see everything that everybody's doing all the time, and we're just stuck in comparison. And we really need to, like, stop trying to compare. We don't, like you said, we don't need to be all the same.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good, the advertisers and stuff, like, they've started being more inclusive and showing different people and stuff like that. And I saw an ad the other day for, like, underwear, and it showed a woman, she had, like, red bumps on her butt, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. I've been noticing stuff like that, which is cool. I'm for it. But also, I want to say self-love is very important. I think it's very important that we accept ourselves the way that we look. But if our outward appearance is not healthy, then you always should love yourself. Always.
Yeah.
That's very important. Like, obviously you need to love yourself. But if you are unhealthy, then I think it is very important that you don't just say that, oh, I'm great the way I am, I don't need to change because I love myself. You should love yourself, but you should love yourself enough to be healthy.
Yeah.
The healthiest version of yourself.
So when I was at Donna's class, I said, another question I asked is, it's like, I know all the stuff I should do, right? I know I should meditate, exercise, stretch. I know I should do abdominal massage. I know I should do all these things, eat healthy, whatever. But, like, how do you get to the place where you just do it and you stop making excuses of why you can't do it, or just stop doing it or whatever? How do you get to that point? Because that's where I struggle sometimes, where I get very hung up, like, with following through on something. And she just said, because I've been seeing her for many years, but she's always like, "Are you doing your abdominal massages?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know why I just can't do it." I know how to do it, I just don't do it. But she said it's when you respect and honor your body enough to respect it to do that.
That makes so much sense. It's kind of like where we are right now. Think of so you may have not made these things habit yet, but think of all the things you have made
Yes,
a habit
little changes.
that you probably wouldn't have had you known what you know now, or respected it enough. Like, for example, like I cook every night or every other night lately, and I'm exhausted with it, and I would have never kept up with that before. I probably would have eaten out a lot or gotten takeout or simple meals that I could cook really fast or whatever, had I not known what I know now, or respected that, or I don't know if I'm trying to say respected, but that like respect the process, that this is so important, right? I value it, that this is very important and I have to do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like the more
it's like
you
a
understand how important it is and necessary, the more you're going to do it.
Yeah.
With smoking, Nick, I had quit, and he just couldn't quit. Well, I was praying, first of all. I have to say, so many of my prayers, almost all of my prayers get answered. I don't pray for silly things either. But I prayed that he would quit, that he would just quit. I don't know exactly all the prayers I've said, but eventually, every time he started smoking, he'd get an asthma attack.
You put a curse on him, Rachel? Praying and putting curses and hexes are not the same
look,
thing.
I did it. I didn't. But look, sometimes when you just can't quit, and and I'm praying, that's just what it took, right? That's what it took for him to change. Just like I believe my addiction is what it took for me to be the person I am today. Sometimes bad things have to happen to make you into what you are, and that did it. He couldn't smoke anymore, and it really scared him. So that caused him to change, and now he's not going to go back, because that really put a fear in him, and it made him understand just how much he needed to make that change.
Yeah.
What
kind of witchcraft are you into?
Hey, God is powerful.
I'm just joking, guys. You're like, they joke around about being witches, but now we're crossing the line. No, we don't do any witch. The closest thing I've ever done to witchcraft is watch The Craft, the movie. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
With Nev Campbell and the witches. I was obsessed with that.
Yeah, no, that was
But
super cool.
I never did any kind of witchcraft stuff. Sorry, guys.
I love that
I
movie.
still have lots more time to go. Maybe a late in life witch.
Or playing the Ouija board.
Oh yeah, the Ouija board. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we did that one.
That's so funny. I don't feel like nothing ever happened out of the realm of normalcy when we played that.
I mean, I have a crazy story, but I'm not going to say it on here. I'll tell you later.
So yeah, I mean, there's lots of facets to being beautiful, being accepting, loving yourself, being active, and all that stuff. Is there anything else that you feel strongly about today, Rachel, that you need to get off your chest?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Well, then we talk about physical health. So physical health, we talked about mental, but physical. So if we're smoking, it's going to age you, which I know people who smoke know that, right? Like they know it's not that they're smoking because they don't care. But like I said, the more you know, and I know they know that cigarettes are bad. It's one thing, cigarettes are bad, but once you truly understand what it's doing to your body, and I don't know, it's like another level, right? Because I remember when I started to quit, I already knew cigarettes were bad, but it's like I had this different understanding at this point. Everybody knows they're bad, but it was like I just, every time I smoked, I was like, I'm thinking, I'm destroying my body. I'm gonna, all these things are gonna happen, and it started to just make it like, what?
It like ruins it.
Yeah, like I couldn't even tolerate it anymore. Like it became very it wasn't even enjoyable anymore. And then I got to the point I was like, oh, why am I even doing it? I don't even want to do it anymore, and I'm still doing it. I'm not even enjoying it at all. I was like, this makes no sense, so I just quit. But it took a while to get there. So I would urge you to just keep educating yourself more and more. Don't ever think that you know everything there is to know, right? I know a lot of things now, and I hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I know this already. You know, I should be doing it. I already know." But you have to constantly listen to things that you might know already, because there's always tidbits of information that you didn't know, or it just hits you different that last time you listened to it. You know, you might have heard it 100 times before, but that 100th time it hit you differently. You understood it differently for some reason.
Like that happens all the time. Like you hear somebody say something and all of a sudden just like hits, you know. Like, oh man.
Yeah, like that happens all the time, and it's necessary to make these big changes. If you really care, then you need to make lifestyle changes, but not even just smoking. That's the obvious one. And drinking ages you too. But how about not getting good sleep at night? You know, that's a big one. Not staying hydrated, eating a lot of bad foods, obviously, but things like seed oils are very aging.
Yeah.
So it's like things like that are going to play a big role in your appearance.
Yep, for sure. I mean, because what we put in our body affects our whole body, you know, our gut and our weight and the way we look and act and all kind of different things, you know.
And instead of looking for like, oh, I'm going to fix this with surgery, or I'm going to fix this with this pill, those aren't long-term solutions. And I think it's safe to say that a lot of times people do these things and they're still not happy with themselves.
Yeah.
Or they don't even feel good. You know, feeling good is important for looking good. Mm-hmm. You know?
And then sugar. I mean, sugar
oh, yeah.
is like a huge thing, especially for women in menopause. Sugar ages you. This metabolic process, it like speeds aging. So it's very important to cut down on sugar. And you would not believe how your sugar is impacted by stuff. Like, I got this continuous glucose monitor. There's a new one out on the market called Stelo, Stelo by Dexcom. This is approved for over-the-counter use. You do not need a prescription. It's $89. You get 2 of them, and it'll last a month. So each of them lasts 15 days. And I'm not a spokesperson. I'm sure they're collecting some sort of data on us.
That's
whatever.
what Nick said.
But it's really great to see how different foods impact your glucose.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another tool you can use to become more aware of something. Because now that so sugar is my weakness. I don't eat a lot of processed sugar, if at all, but I eat a lot of sugar still. Sugar is sugar. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of honey and maple syrup. And it's been something I've been...
You sound like Will Ferrell on Elf. Did you ever watch that Christmas movie?
Yeah, he like
everything's maple syrup. Like, there's Rachel again with her maple syrup on the spaghetti and meatballs.
Because I remember when I first started trying to make this lifestyle change, of course I had to find my substitutes for sugar, and I was like, okay, I'm doing better because it's natural. But we were never supposed to consume sugar on this level. Go back to hunters and gatherers. They were not consuming sugar like that. Sugar is not available like that. So it takes you to have a different awareness. So when you put that CGM on and you see your body spiking after very little, like, so I have coffee every morning. I drink it black with just a little bit of honey in it. That caused a huge spike. Just that little bit of honey. Okay. And then what else? We ate something last night.
Fruit.
Oh, I made taco meat. Now, this is all really good ingredients, like grass-fed, grass-finished taco beef, which it wasn't the beef. I made my own seasoning, but I had corn. I made corn with it. And
corn spiked you?
Yeah, and then I had the Siete brand avocado oil tortilla chips that we ate it with, and it was a huge spike between the corn and then the corn chips, because it's just a lot of corn. So grains overall, we're not supposed to eat a ton of grains, which is really hard for us over here in America, but grains spike. I've been finding that the grains are spiking me more than the sugar.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Grains don't spike me like sugar does.
Really?
But like everything I eat that's fruit related, it's like huge spike. Even just a like couple of grapes is like insane. You could literally eat a candy bar and not get a spike as bad as like grapes.
Like I just had it on this is probably only my second day, so I haven't eaten a lot of fruit on it yet, so I don't know.
So cheese is like, if you're gonna like eat something that's gonna spike you, like fruit or candy or something very sugary. I mean, not candy, but whatever. But like if you cheese first, then you probably won't spike because
So that's why I thought the tacos with the corn wouldn't be so bad because I was eating the meat with the corn.
Yeah, but it's still
And that's
did it.
protein. And I thought it'd be all right, but it wasn't.
Was it
No.
low? Like didn't have a lot of fat? Maybe? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
grass fed, grass finished. So
Yeah, it's probably pretty
I cooked
lean.
it in coconut oil.
I don't know. But you'll see how your body like reacts to different foods and stuff that like because you can watch this and like you'll know what maybe is triggering you.
Yeah.
And like what you need to stay away from and how you need to stack different foods together to to get less of a spike.
Yeah.
But I'll
It's-
tell you for sugar, have you cooked with dates, like baked with dates?
I use it in that pudding, but I haven't eaten it since I had the CGM one.
Dude, you need to go find that recipe I sent you for the brownies. They are so freaking good, and I could eat a whole platter of them and I won't spike, and I'll be disgusted and probably throw up, but I won't spike.
Yeah. I need to just make the date syrup maybe, and that where I could have it like on hand for a while.
Maybe you could like do coffee with dates or something.
Yeah,
Like, instead
maybe
of
so.
honey. Because yeah, I get it. Honey's great, but it's also like a big load of sugar.
Yeah, it is. But like, that has caused me to that is helping me to cut down the sugar. Seeing it physically on that graph and just seeing it spike up and knowing that makes me want that has been the biggest thing to help me want to cut down on sugar than anything else.
Yep, exactly. Because before it's like you didn't really know, so you're like, I'm sure it's not that bad. You just tell
Yeah.
yourself, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. But it's like, no, 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 it's not fine.
That's a great point. Anytime there is any room for doubt, you're going to run with that doubt. You're
Yep.
going to go with the doubt, right? Like, oh, well, I don't know for sure. So that gives you room to use that. And you will. You're always going to do it. So once you can eliminate the doubt, there's nowhere for you to turn. You have to accept the truth. It's hard to unknow the truth, and it kind of forces you into change.
That's
if
why
you,
Mike
if you
doesn't
care.
want to do it. What brand did Nick take? Did he get a Stilo?
Yeah, he has that one, and I have the one that you gave me.
Yeah, the Libras suck once you get a Stilo. But although the Libras are better about telling me when spikes are happening, this one doesn't. It's not as good. Like, is Nick's telling him spikes, like notifying him?
He didn't put the notifications on because he didn't want it. Because the first night, I let it put all the alerts on, like the emergency alerts. First night, 3:00 in the morning, it's like rear or whatever sound it makes, and we're like, oh my god, like what is that? What's going on? And I'm like, oh my god, it's the glucose monitor. And then I had it far away from the bed because I always put my phone on airplane mode for it to be by me because I don't want it by me if it's not on airplane mode. But he was like, well, you can't do that now because you want it to be tracking your glucose all night. So I was like, okay, well, then can't be by my bed. So I had it far away. So I had to get up out of bed and go check it. And it was saying that it was critically low. And he was like, go eat something.
Go get a snack. I need a Snickers, stat.
I was like, I'm tired. I was like, I feel good. I was like, I'm sleeping good right now. I'm not going to eat.
That is funny.
Yeah, so I turned it off last night. I was like, I'm not having that happen again because I could not go back to sleep after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you gotta turn the alerts off at night.
But it didn't track anything either because for somehow with the Libra, I couldn't.
Yeah, it doesn't track continuously.
If you turn the alerts off, yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. But this one's annoying because I find it's not notifying me for spikes. But I kind of go look whenever I think I'm gonna have one. I'll go look. But yeah, dates are great. None of the stuff that I baked with dates have spiked me whatsoever. So that's been
That's
good.
cool.
Cheesecake also doesn't spike me, I guess, because it has so much cheese. It doesn't matter how much sugar it has in it.
Yeah.
But it makes me also be proactive about the girls because I was giving them all kind of like dried fruit, raisins, like fruit all the time, another
Yeah.
banana, sure, like just nonstop. And I've stopped all that stuff. Like I'm not just feeding them all sugar anymore.
That's a good. I'm so glad you said that too. Because I just keep saying that. Like, I'm so glad you said that. But, because so many people do that. So many moms do that. They're like, oh, I'm going to give them fruit, because they want to snack all the time. And fruit is good because it's fruit. It's natural. Like, we're not supposed to eat fruit all the time.
Yeah.
Fruit all the time is not good. It's almost like eating candy, except you got the fiber now. So that's good.
I
But
mean, according to my CGM, like it's not good to be eating fruit like on an empty stomach all the time.
Right.
Like, of course, like I'll tell them all the time, after you eat lunch and you've had a full meal, yes, you can have a banana or an apple or whatever you want. But like this middle of the day kind of like out of nowhere eating fruit, I don't think it's a good idea.
Also, a lot of people think, especially with their kids, that they need to be eating all the time because, yes, kids are always like, I'm hungry, I want a snack, I want a snack.
They get so moody.
Yeah, but you have to break them from it. It's a process, and it's going to, I guess, some growing pains. Like, it's going to be tough for a little bit, but like, your kids aren't hungry all the time. They're bored, and they want to eat, and they're just thinking about food, and they're having cravings. And I've gotten my kids to where my kids, they eat breakfast, and they eat dinner, and they might eat some kind of small snack in between. And that snack that they do eat is probably just because they're bored. But it's not a big deal. Like, I don't do lunch. So that snack is kind of like their lunch. But we don't even need 3 meals a day. But they get out of it. Like, sometimes I'm like, I even offer them food even though they don't need it, right? Like, because I'm not feeding them all the time.
I'm starving them mostly, but I offer them food sometimes.
A lot of people might even think like, oh my God, you're starving your kids. They're not starving. They're not starving, guys. You're not starving. You don't need to eat
You don't
all
know
the
what
time.
starvation is. Come to my house.
But I offer them food and they're like, I'm not even hungry. Like they're not hungry. Because they're not used to eating all damn day.
I know. And we're like, I'm starting to try to get the girls away from that. And eliminating sugar eliminates a lot because I'll be like, all right, do you want some carrots? Oh, okay, you're not hungry enough to eat carrots? Then you must be fine. Because when they're hungry enough, they'll chow down on those carrots. I'm like, maybe they need a little more food.
But exactly.
They've eaten 5 carrots, so I think it's time.
That's why my kids have gotten out of that habit is because I just stopped buying all of those things. There were no snack foods in the house. There was none. It was either you're going to eat what I have cooked, like leftovers in the fridge, or you're just not going to eat. And they didn't, that's not as appealing. Like, when you're eating food for nourishment, you're not really craving it. You're only going to eat it when you're hungry, really, unless it's something you like super, super love. But even then, like, we really mainly crave snack foods and sugary foods and stuff like that. So when you don't have it available in your house, that's going to cut out wanting to eat all the time.
Yeah. So
that's like the best thing you could do for that.
I don't know if I told you about this, like my salad box. So I have the salad box. I bought it on Amazon. And it has like 6 compartments and I'll put like chopped up carrots, cucumber, maybe some cheese, red bell pepper, some sliced chicken, whatever. And like when they're hungry and I'm like, no, you're not having fruit, I'll just pull that out and be like, here you go. Have the salad box, and usually they'll like eat a couple things, but it's not like they're gonna devour it or anything, but it kind of gets them off my back about snacks all the damn time. So
that's a great way to start that process of trying to get them out of the whole snacky thing, offering them foods that aren't fun to snack on.
So all right, guys, well, this was such a great conversation. We're kind of bopping all over the place a little bit, but had a sort of streamlined topic.
I mean, my main goal for it was really just something like it's been on my mind because it's something I've been struggling with, right? Like I'm watching other women my age get procedures done and stuff, and I'm realizing that I'm going to have to watch them continue looking younger, and I'm going to age because I'm not going to do it. And that kind of sucks. So it's just something to be aware of and start preparing yourself. Try to focus on it because it's not really something we focus on until we're like, it's like, bam, oh, now it bothers me. Yeah. So start focusing on it before it happens and start doing things to where you're going to feel more comfortable, to making more of a comfortable transition. We don't have all the answers.
I'll look old with you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the podcast is not really about having all the answers, but rather maybe some things you can do or just becoming aware of it. And I think like the whole meditation and everything and the whole mental aspect of it is probably the biggest part.
Yes, I think so too. It's just a mental, something that you can create inside your own body. Like you can create your own happiness. I firmly believe that you can create this feeling of being capable and beautiful and everything because you are those things, but you have been programmed to not feel those things and to deplete your own resources, telling yourself negative things about yourself. But if you can turn that around, it's amazing like what your brain can do.
Yeah.
So
truly.
You are beautiful, no matter what they say. You know that song? Heather's karaoke. I've been feeling very like melodious today.
And that's from her meditation and her breath work.
Yes, I've been singing. My girls are like, "Here's mom singing again." I think Addison likes it. Arabella's like, "I don't know about this." So, all right, guys, this was fun. We're so glad you're still with us. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, comment on Facebook. Go back and see what else we have going on. But thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.